What's up, guys? Welcome back to the ASAP Automotive channel, and today is the monumentous day that we put this drivetrain back in the Jeep. Alright guys, as with any project, you're going to have some hiccups and all kind of fun little situations, and we've already had a few. We're going to have a few more, I'm quite sure. So anyways, we were upgrading and doing away from the whole Z-bar linkage for the transfer case shifter, and we actually, in the process, we couldn't figure out what was going on. Something wasn't right with it. Long story short, they sent us the NV241 transfer case, the rock track, out of the Rubicon, and the lever is actually 180 out from the 231, the standard one that we have in here. So it's no big. We got it sorted out. So we're going to go ahead and throw that bracket on real quick, and we'll be ready to drop this back in. Alright guys, this is the big moment we've been waiting for. We're ready to finally drop this whole completed drivetrain back in and get started hooking everything up. So we went ahead, we've got our engine mount plates bolted up. We've got that figured out earlier when we mocked up the horns for the hinge mount. We've got our top rubber pieces on to go ahead and set everything down in, and then we're going to go from there, so stay tuned. Alright, so we got our drivetrain sat back down in. Went ahead and put our bolted down our motor mount, so we're good up there. It's pretty simple, it's straightforward. The instructions they give you from Novak are really clear. Everything's good there. So the next thing we're going to do is put the pan, cross member, whatever you want to call it. Remember the other day we got all this mocked up and figured out how we're going to drill all that. So now we're going to come back, and we meant to the other day, but we were busy. We're going to go ahead and tap these holes out. So these were pretty cruddy up in here, had some rust and corrosion and stuff, and going back in, I mean, this is pretty strong, or a pretty big structural member, so you want to make sure you got good contact. We're doing away with the spacers from where this thing had a lift on it and the pan was dropped. So we're putting new bolts in, so we want good clean threads. It's like a M12 by 1.75 is what ours is. If you got a TJ, it's most likely the same thing. So we're going to go ahead and go through and tap these out real quick and clean them up, then go ahead and bolt on our transmission pan. Alright guys, so we're back at it again with the transfer case shifter linkage. Well, yeah, basically it's a cable kit now. So we're upgrading, like we said, from the Z-bar linkage to the this cable linkage kit from Novak. Well, we had a little bit of a mix-up. For some reason, they sent us a kit for a Rubicon, which has the NV241, and we have the 231. So it's a totally different. Well, this end of the kit's different compared to the main bracket's the same, but our lever faces down. The 241's like 180 out, like totally different, wouldn't work. So, anyways, got that all figured out. We're back at it now. We've got the correct bracket on, and the bracket here, I've already got that on. We need to make sure that it's in 2 high. One of the next things we'll do is we've got the bushing out of the shifter up here, the little plastic bushing. It's got to come out. Would highly recommend doing that while you got the drivetrain out, or just pull the shifter out. It's way easier. That's what we ended up doing. So we're gonna go ahead and put that little bushing in, which looks something like this right here. It's a little stepped bushing, and it fits right down in there into the bracket up in here on the shifter itself. So we'll go ahead and slide it with it tapered in on in, and it should fit near about flush up in there like that. It'll be a little raised, but that's perfect. Sorry guys for the noise. My neighbor evidently has a helicopter for riding lawnmowers. So alright guys, so we got our nut off and our lock washer off. We're gonna go ahead and slide the cable on through here like this, and we're gonna go ahead and put our lock washer back on up against there like so. Start our jam nut back on there. Just barely kind of run it snug. Slide our boot back over. Alright, now I'm going to put our ball joint in back on. Few good threads on it. Alright, that's gonna, of course, when pop out. We're gonna run the stop nut back up to, or jam nut back up to it. And what we're gonna do, since this thing wants to be able to butt head, is we're gonna go ahead and put it in 4 low so we can get the bracket up here to where we need it. And we're gonna go ahead and put our lock nut on. Push him back in that decided to fall out. Start our lock nut on there. Go ahead and tighten this down, and yeah, we'll go from there. Alright, so we're going to do pretty much the same thing on the bottom side. Take this this side jam nut and lock washer off. Took the clevis end off, and we're going to go ahead and slide it through here, slide our washer back on and our nut back on, and just kind of finger start it right now. We don't get crazy and tighten it yet, because we still got to figure out, we got to adjust everything out. So, boy, I'm so glad my neighbor decided he wanted to cut his grass on the slowest speed setting today. He's got like, I don't know, not even a 1/4 acre, and I feel like he's been out there mowing for like 3 hours. It's insane. This back on. Alright guys, so we got the cable back in, got our front nut and washer on. We made sure that our transfer case wasn't too high and our shifter was on too high. And what we did is went ahead and run this clevis on and started setting it up until we could get the pin to slide right in with no tension either way. And we're good right now. See, it's nice and just perfect in there. We got it on the bottom hole for the most amount of leverage. This one in particular has got 3 different holes you could use. So we got that on there. We adjusted it to where we're plenty of threads in. So we've got a good amount of threads on this one and that one, so we don't have to worry about them pulling out. Went ahead and slid the pin back in, and we got our cotter pin that comes with it. We're going to go ahead and bend these tabs out, come back, tighten this jam nut, the jam nut up here, and these two here, and that's it. So this is like a lifetime kind of cable, or like extremely low friction. But they say, you know, if you're gonna go through water or mud and stuff like that, it's good to lubricate it every now and then, or every 5 years or so. So man, heck of a better setup than what we originally had. So this is freaking awesome. All right, guys, so we're ready to go ahead and put our rear mount together, and then put our cross member / pan, or whatever you want to call it. So this is that kit from Novak, where you can, you know, mount it in a ton of different positions. Like the other episode you seen the other day, we went through and figured out setting all this up and drilling our holes in the pan. So we've got, what you want to do is take this top piece, set it down in there like that. You got this bottom puck that goes on up in. You actually just shove it up in there and it actually will hold. You got just the regular washer, goes on top, and slide it down through, and do the same for the other one. Now this is our particular application. Depending on what you got going on, you know, you might have had yours mounted a little different, with this flipped over or this way, or the spacers underneath that come with it like these, which we didn't end up needing. You know, like we said in the other video, we were able to get our 3 to 5 degrees of attitude with this setup, so it's perfect, and we were able to do away with all the spacers here, so we didn't have this pan sitting down and looking ugly. So those are in. Now we're going to go ahead and bring our pan over and go ahead and start putting the bolts in for that. We're going to Loctite those two and put a little bit of Loctite on here and keep these things from backing out. So let's get at it. Alright guys, so one thing you want to be careful of here, one thing that kind of bit us, mainly because whoever put the lift kit on and put the spacers and all that in there, put the wrong hardware. So up until, I think from like the 80s, pretty much any YJ and then early TJ up to like 02, 03, somewhere in that range, you know, there's different opinions online and stuff like that. So anywhere in that range, somewhere around there, they went from a, like ours is this is an 01, so we've got a 1/2 inch by 13 thread, 1/2 inch diameter by 13 thread pitch, and we're using 2-inch bolts. Now we are, because what was in there was metric, and we're like, okay, cool. Well, and we figured out, did a little bit of research, figured out what, you know, situation was. So anyways, they must have ordered for the wrong kit or something, or came with it, who knows. But anyways, we originally were using 12 by 175, which doesn't work. So actually 12 by 1.25 is actually what the 02 or 03 and up is in the metric. So anyways, we got our tap, 1/2 inch by 13. We're going through one by one, cleaning out the threads, and then going back with these bolts and Loctite, and we'll be done. Alright guys, so we got our cross member in, or skid plate, whatever you want to call it. It's all bolted in, everything's tightened down, Loctited. We're awesome there, it's great. Next thing we're going to do is putting this bad boy in, our drive shaft from Adams Drive Shaft. We bought this kit as a kit with from them, with the slip yoke, the Terraflex slip yoke eliminator kit and all. So all we had to do was give them the measurement from here on the case all the way back to here, like we talked about the other day. So we're gonna go ahead and bolt this bad boy in. All right guys, so the kit with the drive shaft and all actually comes with the hardware for the front, with the CV setup, the 2 U-joint knuckle here. So we're going to go ahead and use that hardware to attach it up in the front and then bolt it up on the back. So let's get at it. A little bit of blue Loctite on here is really all you need. You don't really need to get red or anything crazy like that. This is a really fun angle. Alright guys, so like I said, we just got the hardware coming in from the front here. A little 8mm by 12 point head with a lock washer. We'll put a little bit of blue Loctite on there just to make sure they don't back out. Just snug them down good and tight. You don't have to get crazy with them. I'm sure there's some Torx back out there, but I've always just snugged them down, put blue Loctite, and never had a problem. So we got that. Got our straps on the back with our bolts back there with blue Loctite. Everything's good and tightened down. We're going to come back through and just double check, making sure that they've got grease in them with a squirt or two or so. And yeah, so that's it for the drive shaft. We're going to move on to the next part now. Alright guys, so that's how you install the transfer case shifter assembly kit from Novak in a TJ with a NV231 transfer case. As we learned the hard way, the NV241's just polar opposite, but it's the same basic idea. Really just the levers the other way, and it all hooks up about the same. So if you've got that kit, you can pretty much follow along with those same instructions. So, but I think it's going to make it way easier with shifting. Even if you're not doing this V8 swap like we're doing, that's a great upgrade to get away from that stupid Z-bar linkage that's constantly problematic. So it's a great upgrade to do. So, but anyways guys, that's going to be a wrap for today. Now it's a good time for a good Dr. Pepper, just like what the doctor ordered. And remember guys, till then, stock is not an option.